is this thing on, right? So this movie is directed by Bradley Cooper. It also has a cameo by him, short role. What I loved about it, and I'm going to take this as an inspiration for one of the movies I'm writing, is the way they use stand-up comedy to um, give you narratives about the plot, or to give you an insight about these characters and what's happened in their lives or what's happening in their life. And the stand-up comedy is done by the lead actor who just happens to do it for the first time ever because he wants to save 15 bucks, right? He doesn't have the money and he wants to save that. And that particular bar that he is going to, they say that you either pay the money or you do an act. So he does the act and he realizes that he likes it a lot. He may be bad at it. I mean, I think initially he's bad at it, but I think through the movie he gets better. But what it helps him is it is an outlet, right? As I said, watching movie is an outlet for me to to come to feel better, right? To cry and to feel better and to just let it out. Similarly, comedy or doing stand-up comedy is an outlet for him to take out what is inside him and express it. So, and he gets addicted to this outlet, and you know, that helps him. And that also becomes a very important point in him and his wife connecting back together, right? So overall, I mean, I enjoyed the movie. It was a very entertaining movie. Number one, it had a lot of. I mean, the characters were very well written. Both Will Arnett, I think his name is, and Laura Dern. Both of them have done a splendid job in the movie, and you relate to their characters. And all the supporting actors are also really good and have a small role to play in the way they want. The father, uh, he's a famous guy, but I don't know his name. I've seen him in a lot of movies. Father of Will Arnett, and the mother, right? Their friends, the couple like Bradley Cooper and his wife. So all of them have a very good role and good characters. And so for me, yeah, it was a movie I was inspired by to use a part of it in my own movie. And of course, I found it very entertaining. So I have done my part of the review. You want to talk about it?
So is this thing on, I think, comes from the fact that, yeah, he's trying to not give the money to enter a bar, and he just is so frustrated with his separation from his wife. They're separated, not divorced. So he's like, okay, let me just go to a bar and get a drink to get rid of the tension. And but he doesn't want to pay the $15. So he ends up writing his name for doing a, what do you call a stand-up comedy show, one-time comedy. And he says that I live in an apartment and I know that I'm probably separated from my wife because my kids and wife don't live there. That's the indication that I'm probably separated. And this gets a laugh out of his uh, act. And so he thinks, okay, I can make people laugh out of my tragedy. And he gets a kick out of it that, people laughed at it. So he keeps coming back again and again. So there is a juxtaposition of something really happening, a fight or an incident really happening with the wife, and then his take on it during the act. So it's a release for him, but it's also a high for him because his wife kind of accuses him of being like, non-reactive. Like, when somebody you just want to shake them up and you're like, just react, just be like human, just communicate with me, like, right? That has stopped between them. She feels he doesn't care for her and stuff like that. And I think they were in therapy, and she kind of makes an insult to him, like, everything is okay with you, like nothing bothers you. So, yeah, so this act, it's a release for him, and it's also a high for him that he's able to uh, put whatever is happening in his real life into the act and get a kick out of it. Um, and in the process, one day his wife happens to be at the bar, and she listens to it, and she should actually get angry, but in the end, she has a smile. And that's where another step happens in their relationship, where it was going downhill till there, but then it starts taking a different route. It kind of brings them together. And from there, again, there's highs and lows, but at least they're working towards repairing it. And she finds it hot that her husband is able to be a stand-up comedian and is alive, right? Like for the first time, she sees him reacting to the situation that he's in. Otherwise, he's just like a mellow person, like no highs, no lows. And usually, you want a person to be, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like a mellow person is good, no reaction, you don't expect anything out of them. But in reality, like you want a person to go up or down, like, emotion wise. You don't want a person to be inert in that sense. So the repair starts happening because of his comedic routine. They start getting together, and in the end, everything turns out to be okay. But there is a funny take from the kids. The kids are like, "Are you depressed, Dad? Why is this file full of things that's happening bad to us? Why have you written it down? Are you depressed?" And then he has to explain it to them. That's an act. And then the wife discovers it, and then her parents discover it, and the mom has a very funny take on it. I don't remember it, but she says something, right, Karthik, about his routine, like,
I mean, they do. His father also attributes it to midlife crisis and all, and
yeah, they're like, oh, so
so
you're telling all your sadness to people and they're laughing at you, like, what's going on, like,
yeah.
But the entire movie is funny, but there is such a good arc to everybody's character where they are a certain way, but they end up evolving again, That evolution happens with Alex Novak, the hero of the film. And that evolution also, I guess that, when the other person is evolving in a relationship, you kind of evolve with them, especially if they're communicating. Like if they're telling you what they feel and what they don't feel. And at one point, he says that uh, I was not unhappy with the marriage. Like I wanted to stay there, but I probably was not communicating because something in me was unhappy. Like he was unhappy, but it had nothing to do with the marriage. It had probably, he was
What is the
not.
dialogue? I was unhappy
I was not.
in the marriage, but I was not unhappy with the marriage. Something like that, right?
I was unhappy in the marriage, but I was not unhappy with the marriage. Yeah. Which is hilarious. But I mean, to hear it is hilarious, and it kind of like doesn't make any sense, but it does make sense. Like it's like that. It's so strange, but that's the irony of life, and the irony of the movie. Like and you never expect that when they have taken such a big decision to separate, they would get back together, and it's so beautiful in that sense. And for Jan, like for all the movies that I've seen, it was so beautiful. It was so nice to see a rom-com, but in a different way. And the way Bradley Cooper has shot it, you can feel the compactness of a like an underground bar. You can feel the crowd. You can feel that it is a small space. You can feel like there are people like rubbing shoulders with each other. They're so close. Like, that feeling is there of a bar and all. Like, it's difficult to translate the feeling of a place to the audience. Like, when you see a war movie, not necessarily that you will feel everything that is happening there, right? But here you feel every you feel the you feel as if you were in the bar yourself, like the people, the smell, it all translates to the audience. So Bradley Cooper is great. Yeah, he's a great actor, and now he's become a great director. So it's pretty cool that he made this movie, and he himself plays a character called Balls, which I'm just reading on IMDb, and I thought, oh, his character name was Balls, which is funny. He plays a struggling actor, so that was also funny. In between there are
Yeah.
funny takes from the cast. Amazing movie. I mean, you feel totally satisfied after watching this movie. So for me, must watch.